Martin, we do ask that the introduction is 2 to 3 minutes, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Jaguar Nation. My name is Sarah Martin, and I would like to continue to be your SGA Vice President. President Barack Obama said, change will not come if you wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. I believe that we are a nation of innovators who craft our interests into well-oiled machines of bona fide change. As a student leader, I am the facilitator of that change. Student leaders don't always have to come up with the best ideas, the most creative ideas, but we do have to make those ideas come to life. This term, I refocus the attention to changing from within SGA, making sure that the senators, no matter if they're nursing majors or engineering majors, were equipped with the tools to transform ideas into actionable legislation. I still believe that each of us have something that you would like to see improved on this campus. Something that you would like to see change for the better. You have the ideas, and I want to put them in action. When you have an idea about what you want to eat, and when you want to eat it, I just want to add action and make a change. When you want to have a Go Green campus and an HBCU that stands out in the nation, I just want to add action and make a change. And most importantly, as a vice president, I know what you need and I know what your wants and desires are. And I want to ask you.
Ms. Martin, come to a closing, please.
Thank you. And I want to ask you on a consistent basis, the one-sided decisions, and stop making decisions for the masses. Because I want to open up that vital line of communication filled with rich ideas, I'm going to add action and make a change. I ask that on election day, you remember the discussions that we've had and keep it going.
Ms. Martin, come to a closing, please.
Sarah Martin, to be your SGA Vice President. Thank you.
2 to 3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Greetings and salutations to all of you, students of the Jaguar Nation. My name is Vance Mitchell, a 22-year-old senior, civil engineering major, French minor, from the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. And I stand before you to gain your support for the position of Vice President of the Student Government Association for the 2014-2015 academic school year. Change. A word that has a concrete meaning, but can sometimes have no implementation whatsoever. Past vice presidents have stood here on this very podium talking about the problems that exist on this campus and what is needed to change it. But when elected into office, had they implemented the same change they were speaking of? Since I've been here in 2009, not one of them has lived up to that reputation. Now that our centennial year is slowly coming to an end, we have no choice but to usher in an era of awareness and understanding, most importantly, change. A sustainability change, so that students won't have to look at the overflowed trash cans filled with a mixture of fountains and recyclable objects that can possibly preserve our earth for future generations of Southernites. A security change, so that students can walk freely around this campus without having to look behind their backs all the time. Or
Mr. Mitchell, come to an ending, please.
No matter what happens after tonight, I will be here to bring about this change that this campus so rightfully deserves. Thank you.
My question is for Ms. Martin. What have you done this year as Vice President that, I'm going to give you a chance to get to the podium.
Thank you.
What have you done this year that should make the students want to vote for you again?
This year, I have taken the opportunity to train senators. A number of them have decided to return back to the Student Government Association either as a senator or a higher position. The biggest challenge that we had this year was having a way to make it understandable for people who aren't political science majors, to be able to understand how to write these ideas into legislation. And I think the training, well, I know that the training that we had was completely necessary. And we spent most of our time doing some in-house understanding. So bill writing, we did parliamentary measures, and we tried to train them about how to conduct meetings in efficiency and have them consistently, how to communicate with the student body on a regular basis, and the importance of keeping that communication going.
Okay, I have a question for Mr. Mitchell. One of your sole responsibilities as Vice President is Senate President. How do you plan on informing students about Senate meetings and why should they attend?
Well, in the past, there have been dorm raids with little 4x6 push cards that the senators have passed out. I want to still keep on doing that, but also put ads in the paper saying when the Senate meetings are and things of that nature. Also make posters so that people can see when the Senate meetings are.
Thank you.
You can stay up there, Mr. Mitchell. I have a question for you. Mr. Mitchell, what makes you qualified to be the Student Government Association Vice President?
Well, I came here in 2009. I've been in Student Government Association since then. I've been a justice freshman and sophomore year, as well as being a senator for junior and senior year, Senate parliamentarian, which would basically keep up the rules of the Senate by Robert's Rules of Order. I've also served in numerous other organizational offices, including Phi Beta Lambda State Secretary/Treasurer, also Collegiate 100 Vice President.
Thank you. Ms. Martin, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
While being the Student Government Association Vice President this past year, what bills have you all done? How many Senate meetings have you had? And what do you plan on implementing different than your administration now?
We've had a total of 10 meetings as of to date. We haven't passed any bills yet, but we do have about, I'd say 16 bills on the docket to be passed before the end of the semester. And this year, we spent numerous hours in community service, and we spent numerous hours making, I'm trying to find the best word for it, making booklets, so to speak, so that it's really simple for the next Senate that comes in. There needs to be no trip up time between the time that you get your office and the time that you have to start writing legislation. So we've started making those things simple, and their to-do list basically of what you should do when you become a senator, vice president, president pro tempore, secretary of the Senate. We want it down pat so that it's easy to understand.
My question is for Mr. Mitchell. Ms. Martin just spoke of 16 bills that are coming before them currently. Do you know of any of those bills, and if so, do you have opinions on any of them?
Yes, I actually do. One of those bills I authored myself with the help of one of the senators. It is a judicial amendment bringing the judicial term to a max of 4 years. It rolls over each time.
Any other?
That is the only one that I know of so far. That's the only one that I presented. All the other Senate meetings, there have been no bills presented. And actually, this is the first time I've heard that there have been 16 bills.
Reload that motherfucker.
My next question.
We do want the students to be able to ask questions, so we ask that the audience via Instagram, you can go to SU_elections 2014, and the student body can ask questions to the candidates, and we will pick some questions to ask. So it's SU_elections with an S 2014.
Of the 16 bills that you introduced, how were they publicized, if at all? And how do you publicize your meetings, if at all?
None of the bills have been publicized because we spent the time trying to draft them, and I wouldn't want to put out something that hasn't been edited to the student body if it's not fit to be read. So that's the first thing. Most of the initiatives all of the initiatives that I presented when I ran the first term were the crafts behind, the masterminds behind the direction we went in to write the bills. For all the Senate meetings, we've used Instagram, we've used the university's Facebook page and the university's SUBR feed, as well as communicating with SU Digest to publicize all the meetings.
There is a white Lexus SUV outside with the lights on, license plate number 2946. That's your truck, please go turn left. Ms. Martin. What problems do you see facing Southern University, and what role do you see the Senate playing in correcting those problems?
The biggest problem that I see for Southern University is that simple things go undone for the students on a daily basis. And that's with a two-sided understanding of the problem that Southern University faces with financial needs, as well as the struggle that students have with not understanding how those financial needs play into their everyday lack of need. So when you get to a situation like campus beautification, we could easily say we're going to have 1 million flower beds and everything's going to be perky pretty around campus. But that's not possible because we don't have the staff to fund daily maintenance and weekly maintenance of those flower beds. So campus beautification has to be approached from a whole different perspective. And so I think Southern University faces a problem where student leaders are called upon to make student matriculation easier, because we understand how to craft a pretty creative idea about how to take care of a financial need when you have no funds. We're trying to make things work. If we have to jig it up, we'll do what we have to do.
If you do not win, are you still willing to help the person, Ms. Martin, that would win, fulfill the things that you have on your platform?
That is a definite yes, and I will tell you why. I've ran for Chief Justice a total of 3 times. I'm not ashamed of saying it. Each of those 3 times, 2 of those times I lost. But I still continued on with being in the Student Government Association. Both times that I did lose the first 2 times, I served in the University Senate. I served as parliamentarian. I will still keep, whoever wins tonight, I will still keep doing what I have to do in order to see this campus prosper.
Thank you. Give a round of applause for your vice presidential candidates, Ms. Sarah Martin.